Hey, English learners! Welcome back to 5 Minutes of English Listening Practice. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Arjun.
If you're new here, this podcast is designed to help you improve your English through natural conversations. So sit back, relax, and listen along.
Today's topic is something almost everyone struggles with at some point: staying consistent. Whether it's learning English, exercising, reading, or building a new habit, we all know what we should do, but actually doing it every day is a different story.
Exactly. So why does staying consistent feel so difficult? That's what we're going to talk about today.
But before we begin, if you're enjoying these listening practice episodes, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to English with Pavi.
Your support helps these videos reach more English learners around the world, and it encourages us to keep creating free English content for you every week.
Thank you so much. Now, let's get into it. Sarah, let me ask you something. Why does staying consistent feel so difficult? Recently, I decided to build a reading habit. Nothing too ambitious. I told myself I'd read just 10 pages a day. 10 pages doesn't sound difficult at all. It should take maybe 15 or 20 minutes. But after a few days, I started skipping it. One day became 2 days, then 3 days, and before I knew it, I wasn't reading anymore. If the goal was so simple, why was it still so hard to stick with?
That's a great question, and honestly, I think a lot of people have experienced something similar. The interesting thing is that reading 10 pages isn't difficult. Practicing English for 10 minutes isn't difficult. Going for a short walk isn't difficult. What's difficult is repeating those actions consistently when the excitement starts to disappear.
That makes sense because when I first started, I was really motivated. I was imagining myself finishing lots of books and becoming someone who reads every day.
Exactly. And I think that's where many people get stuck. We become excited about the result. We imagine ourselves speaking fluent English, getting fit, saving money, or achieving some big goal. But we don't always think about the small daily actions required to get there.
So maybe I was more excited about becoming a reader than actually reading.
I think that's true for most of us. We love the idea of success. We love imagining the outcome. But consistency happens in the boring middle, the part where nobody sees your effort and the results aren't obvious yet.
That's interesting because I think another problem is that we expect results too quickly.
Absolutely. Let's take English learning as an example. Sometimes people practice for a few weeks and then say, "Why am I still making mistakes?" Or, "Why am I not fluent yet?"
I used to think like that.
The problem is that progress usually happens much more slowly than we expect. When you're improving, you often don't notice the change day by day. But if you compare yourself to where you were 6 months ago, the difference can be huge.
That's true. When I think about my own habits, the biggest improvements happened slowly. There was never a single day when everything suddenly changed.
Exactly. Most success stories look dramatic from the outside, but they're usually built on hundreds of ordinary days. Days when people showed up, did the work, and repeated the same habits again and again.
You know what else makes consistency difficult?
What?
Motivation. People always talk about motivation as if it's the answer to everything.
That's because motivation feels amazing when it's there. When you're motivated, everything feels easy. You want to study, you want to exercise, you want to work on your goals.
The problem is that motivation doesn't stay forever.
Exactly. Some days you'll feel energetic and productive, other days you'll feel tired, stressed, or distracted. If your habits depend entirely on motivation, they'll disappear whenever motivation does.
So what you're saying is that consistency is more important than motivation.
Definitely. Motivation helps you start. Consistency helps you finish.
I like that. Motivation helps you start. Consistency helps you finish.
And that's why small habits are so powerful. People often think they need to study English for 3 hours a day, but sometimes 10 minutes every day is much more effective than 3 hours once a week.
Because it's easier to maintain.
Exactly. The best habit isn't the most impressive one, it's the one you can actually stick to.
That reminds me of something I heard recently. Someone said, make your habits so easy that you can't say no.
I love that idea. If reading 10 pages feels difficult, read 2 pages. If 30 minutes of exercise feels overwhelming, start with 5 minutes. If studying English for an hour feels impossible, listen to English for 10 minutes.
Because doing something small is always better than doing nothing.
Exactly. And once you build the habit, you can always do more later.
I think comparison is another thing that hurts consistency.
Oh, definitely.
People look at someone who's already successful and think, I'll never get there.
The problem is that they're comparing their first chapter to someone else's chapter 20.
That's such a good way to describe it.
Everyone starts somewhere. Every fluent English speaker was once a beginner. Every successful person was once inexperienced. What matters isn't where you start. It's whether you keep going.
So, if someone listening today is struggling to stay consistent, what's the one thing you'd want them to remember?
I'd say this. Don't focus on being perfect. Focus on showing up. You're going to miss days. You're going to make mistakes. That's normal. The important thing is coming back and continuing.
I think that's really powerful. Because one bad day doesn't ruin your progress.
Exactly. What matters is what you do most of the time, not what you do once in a while.
So, to sum up today's conversation, staying consistent feels difficult because we expect quick results, rely too much on motivation, and sometimes make our goals bigger than they need to be.
But if we focus on small actions, stay patient, and keep showing up, consistency becomes much easier.
And over time, those small actions can lead to incredible results.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of 5 Minutes of English Listening Practice.
We hope you enjoyed the conversation and learned some useful English along the way.
We'll see you in the next episode.
Until then, keep learning, keep practicing, and take care.
Bye, everyone!